So after what seems to be an endless wait, Foundation is back. Apple TV's huge sci-fi drama is back with the first episode of its second season. It's been a while and I love this show, and it did help initially start my channel and get the ball rolling, and I did cover all Foundation Season 1, and the link's in the description for that if you want to watch it, or at the end of the video as well. Now, before I get into the episode, I will give you a spoiler warning, but first of all, just to say thanks for taking the time to choose to watch this video. I really appreciate it, and if you haven't done it already, subscribe to the channel. So Season 1 of Foundation left us with some pretty huge cliffhangers. The Foundation was on the run, the clones had been altered forever, and Gael finally meets Salvor, who turns out to be her daughter. And the first episode of Season 2 picks up where it left off, so that's 138 years after the first episode of Foundation. So everyone's now on the same timeline. Gael and Salvor need to flee Issac and find what's left of the Foundation and maybe try and avoid the next crisis. And in this episode, the clones are dealing with more than a few crises of their own and a few changes, but I'll talk about that later on. And the episode picks up literally where the last one left off. First episode does help to fill in a few blanks with what's been going on and help catch the audience up, because again, it's been a while since Season 1. And psycho history changes forever in this episode here in ways that I never imagined. A new crisis is coming, so let's get to it. This is your spoiler warning. So it opens up with Harry, and I wasn't initially sure which version of Harry it was. He's rambling about Gael, and I wondered when this was as well, because it could be the complete far-flung future. I didn't know if they were initially going to do the sort of dual timelines that they'd done in Season 1. But it is set in the present, and we do find that out later on. But this version of Harry seems lost physically and mentally. We see flashbacks to his childhood and we meet people from his past, and I definitely think this is setting up visiting his home planet. They did tease it in Season 1, but they never got there. And we've seen a few shots of Gael and Salvor on this planet with all these children, so I think that is going to be Harry's home planet of Helicron. But I also like that we're seeing his backstory. His dad's not the nicest guy, put it that way.
I paid for that book.
And I'm looking forward to seeing if they carry this over and we find out how he became the man that he was, because he's dead, remember? But this Harry has been trapped, and I wondered who by. Was it the clones? Is he inside the Prime Gradient? Is it both? Maybe neither? We see him talk to an old flame who he calls his life mate, and whatever this is, it clearly isn't part of his plan. Now, part of my brain did go off and go, is it the mule? Is it the mule? And I thought, no, not yet. They're not going to bring the mule in yet. But it's kind of hinted at that Gael might be behind this, as Harry calls her his tormentor. Gael wants to deviate from Harry's plan at some point. But then there's a reveal that it's not his old flame, but a fellow mathematician / nemesis. But it turns out it's neither of those, it's the Prime Gradient itself. So this version of Harry is in the Prime Gradient, and the Prime Gradient has become self-aware with all the information that it has. And this is a huge twist and another thing that's not in the book. Also, like the clones, it's a great way to tell a story. I'm really happy about how they done this and how they pulled it off and what it could mean for the show.
What a twist!
So the Prime Gradient is now working with Harry and guiding him, who in turn is working with Gael and Salvor and guiding them, hopefully. Now, picking up from Season 1, Gael and Salvor are in Issac, and Gael's just found out she's got a daughter, and that was the cliffhanger from Season 1. As Gael's been in stasis, Salvor is now older than her, and Salvor is having the sort of same visions as her mother. So I wonder where they're going with this, with sensing the future and sensing the past, and how that's going to affect Harry's plan and psychohistory, especially now psychohistory's a person. And they both discuss it. Salvor dreams of the past as Gael sees the future, and that is essentially the basis of psychohistory. So are they setting one or both of these guys up to sort of be a rival to Harry or have an alternative plan? I think that's probably where they're going to go with Gael, to be honest. And Gael parallels the fall of Issac to the fall of the Empire, that the floods rose gradually. And I think that's a great, one here. Again, it's a slow burn, and this show is a slow burn, although the pace in this episode really does pick up. But yeah, we find out it was Gael who's trapped Harry in the Prime Gradient, and it seems she's going to go against Harry's plan at some point. And he's been locked in there for 138 years, remember? And because they've both been in stasis and trapped on this planet, they don't know if the fall has happened or how far along it is. They see the second crisis is coming, but don't say what it is, only that it's going to be a lot bigger. Gael explains that this is a tipping point, and if they don't solve the second crisis, it'll have a domino effect, making the next crisis and the one after that worse and worse, to the point of Harry's plan might not actually work. They managed to repair Salvor's ship, but remember, 138 years have passed, so everyone that Salvor knew is long dead, most likely. And Gael's in the same situation, and they do bond over that, only having each other, and the fact that they're the last Synaxians as well. Now here's where the episode sort of twists a little bit. They need Harry's help to repair the ship, and Harry isn't happy at all with Gael and how she's entrapped him. And I didn't expect it this soon for them to reconnect, because it was so staggered throughout episode 1. So yeah, they definitely are picking up the pace here. But what did you guys think about the Prime Gradient becoming sentient and how they're going to deal with this? Let me know in the comments below. And of course, it isn't the Foundation without the Cleons, so we catch up with the clones. And this version of Brother Day is getting on very well with Demerzel. And this is another thing that I didn't see coming, no pun intended. But I guess they're adding a new dynamic to her relationship with at least one of the clones. And anyway, while this is all going on, they're attacked. She's really damaged and Day wins. But the fact that he's attacked like this so easily and that his aura has been sabotaged, things can't be going well for the clone. And this was a great fight scene. We didn't get anything like this in season 1. So again, it shows that this show is going to be bigger in scope and pace, and it's going to be bloodier as well, because this definitely had a John Wick feel to it. And I also noticed that Demerzel calls Day Cleon, and I don't think she really done that in the first season, so that is a sort of interesting change in the dynamic. But this version of Day seems to be on the back foot, not trusting anyone, or having the sort of type of power that the previous clones had in the first season. And this is all from the genetic changes cliffhanger, and you can tell the changes that the Rebels made in season 1 are now well in effect. This Day isn't as well composed, he's more emotional, and the current Brother Dawn mentions about the genetic changes as well and how it's affecting them as individuals and the dynasty. And there are huge changes. This Day is hugely different. He sort of wants to start his own family/dynasty, which is totally against any behaviour we've seen from the clones in season 1. They didn't act as individuals in this way. This is part of a sort of greater plot plan, or is it? I can see that this Day is probably going to deviate quite heavily from the behaviour that's going to be expected. So he's suspicious that his brothers might be behind the attempt to kill him to stop the marriage. But the difference in these characters is huge. They are completely brand new. You don't know what to really expect with this Brother Day. Because one minute he seems like the old version you're familiar with, and the next minute he's just completely off the wall. And Demerzel also seems to have a real hold over this Day, so is she playing the clones against each other? I don't know. And Dusk isn't happy about Day's and Demerzel's newfound relationship, and the whole marriage thing to Queen Seraph, that really also seems to be a sort of power build and power play for Brother Day as well, and is definitely something that's going to divide the clones. I think the marriage is probably just being set up to help Brother Day or the Empire build their forces, and this shows how far they've fallen if they need to reach out for help like this. Day finds out who tried to kill him but not who ordered it or who helped him, so he's suspicious of everyone around him and starts to turn on his own people. So yeah, he's very suspicious of everyone, and the wedding isn't set in stone yet. This means the alliance isn't forged, and Day's new bride sees the cracks in the Empire and lets him know. But all of this is interrupted when Demerzel tells Day about the investigation into the Foundation in Terminus over 100 years ago, because there's been an update. They find a message sent from Terminus letting them know about the Invictus and that the Foundation is still out there, and essentially what happened at the end of Season 1. So they know that they've got the Invictus and that they're up to something, but as it's been over 100 years, they can't work out why there hasn't been some sort of event or attack. Demerzel says she has heard about a blooming alliance on the edge of space, and they work out that it must be the Foundation. Now what's clever is they don't want to tip their hand, so they act as if it's business as normal so as not to alert the Foundation or Harry that they're aware of them. Now, you remember there's another version of Harry on the vault back on Terminus, and this has started to reactivate. It seems that some people, we guess this is probably elements of the Second Foundation have been on the planet waiting on it for 138 years, for the next piece of Harry's plan to emerge, and for him to emerge as well. But I guess Empire is on its way. We've seen Day on Terminus in the promo material that's been released already. And that's pretty much the entire episode. I loved this episode. The opening fight scene was letting us know that this is going to be war, and this show is taking it up a level. Season 1 was criticised for being too slow, and quite rightly so. There wasn't any real action sequences in it, and it seems that they've heard what the fans have to say. The Prime Gradient become a character I think is an absolutely fantastic choice, and as I said, just as surprising as the clones. The stories that they can tell with this are going to be great because Gael and Salvor are going to die eventually, but the Prime Gradient is going to continue. And I think that's probably where they're going to take the character and the story. I want to know what you guys think about the Prime Gradient becoming a character in the show. The fall's coming, Empire's going to get more desperate, and I'm very curious to see how this marriage thing pans out for the brothers Cleon. But what do you guys think? I'm going to be doing a Season 2 prediction videos, and I want to know your thoughts. So let me know in the comments below. Are you happy about the Prime Gradient becoming a character? What do you think that they're going to do about that? What's going on with the other Harry back on Terminus, and what's going to divide the clones? Let me know in the comments below, or you can reach out to me on Twitter at TheGeeksReviews. If you made it this far, please leave a like on the video, and if you haven't done it already, subscribe to the channel. As always, my name's Al, thanks for watching.